Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
The Jackson County Fair Board, in conjunction with Total Media, proudly present Neil McCoy. Neil McCoy. Saturday, July 15th at the Jackson County Fair. VIP track access seats now available for only $30, which includes admission to the fair. Get tickets now at JacksonCooHFair.com or at the Total Media Studios in Jackson.
Someone's going to cater it real nice.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Oh, Dylan, could you flip our lights on, please, honey? Oh, yes. Thank you. Just be prepared. It's going to get weird here in a minute. Okay. There we go. All right. Good morning, everyone. And it's Monday. This is why we forget to turn lights on and things. But it is also a very, very good day because our friend Pete Wilson is here to do the news, brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty, and you can give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, if you have any real estate needs, and she'll take good care of you. So how you doing, Pete?
I'm doing very well. Top of a Monday morning to you.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of rainy and drizzly out there, but that's okay.
I came in early. It wasn't raining then, but it was a little cool.
Yeah.
A big departure from last week. But
exactly.
It's April. It's going to be a little. It's going to be a little changeable, obviously.
Yes, absolutely, and it will warm up a little bit as the week rolls on.
That is good.
So it gives us something to look forward to.
And the sun will return. I'm not sure we could have a better week than we had last week.
I know.
It warmed up, and during the day, so comfortable. It wasn't humid. Didn't get any rain. So.
I always love spring. Because,
everything greened up. Did you notice that?
Oh, so green. And my grass is like knee high again already, and we've mowed it twice already. No, I love spring because you have like the pretty weather, but you don't have all the bugs yet.
Right. No, that's true. Haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not out. They're not out in full force anyway.
Right. Well, Jennifer, we had a really good thing happen on Friday. The timing wasn't great for Main Street TV because it happened after we were off the air.
I know. Shoot.
But we can talk about it now, and it's at the top of the stack. We have a Cycle Search winner. How about that? We kind of thought it was going to happen pretty soon, and it happened the same morning that we were on the air, but after we were on the air.
It did.
Right. The winners are Pam and Billy Pierce.
Yes.
And
look, there they are.
There they are on those two motorbikes that were that were the big prize this year in the Cycle Search from Honda, Suzuki, Polaris, Can-Am, and KO of Jackson.
Yes.
And of course supported by other sponsors as well, and of course Total Media giving those clues all along, both on TV and the radio. And, for those who haven't heard, we did have this in the paper on Saturday, and it's online. But for people who have not heard, the key packet was found at the Vinton Experimental Forest, which is east of MacArthur off U.S. Route 50. I think if you're off U.S. Route 50, you take a right turn. Not sure how far off the road it is, but it was in the Vinton Furnace Wildlife Area. Under some leaves. And of course, the big clue was that kind of probably cinched it for Pam and Billy Pierce and maybe some other people, but they got there first.
They got there first.
Said one of the state's most protected lands, over 17,000 acres strong. Pull over and get out. You shouldn't have to look long.
Yep.
And they didn't.
So, it was so funny. After the show on Friday, I read that clue. And so then I was asking James, I'm like, oh, what, park has 17,000 acres. And it's interesting. We started Googling all of these, you start Googling Lake Alma and Lake Jackson and, all of these places. And it's so funny. the range of how big some of these things are.
Your mind goes to the recreation areas, the park areas, the forest areas.
Yes.
You got Cooper Hollow, you had that there. You got the Zaleski State Forest. You got small sections of the Wayne National Forest there too.
Correct.
You got the Colton Wildlife Area. I mean, you could really have some heck of nature hikes trying to find that thing. But the packet was under a pile of leaves near the sign. I think the sign that Dylan had up there
Yes.
was the sign we're talking about, right near the entrance of the Vinton Furnace Wildlife Area.
Isn't that crazy?
This is a very remote area. There's some wild animals there that probably aren't in very many other areas. And I know that Dave Apsley, with his forestry programs that he does through Extension, some of these programs are in that Vinton Furnace Wildlife area.
Gotcha. Okay.
So back to nature, and that's exactly where you had to go if you're going to be the Cycle Search winner. So congratulations to Pam and Billy Pierce. And I can almost assure you that it wasn't just the last clue. It was a succession of clues that led them to the packet, but that was the clincher.
Fun fact about them, I think that I think James was telling me, or somebody was telling me, that they live actually very close to there, but they had been looking at Lake Alma, and then they heard the clue, so they jumped in their car and went like more toward their home, and were able to find the key packet, which I thought was really cool.
Right, under a pile of leaves. The pile of leaves must have been kind of like a big one, because the wind, the way it was blowing.
I know. How would you keep leaves?
Yeah, but our crack staff found a good place to hide it.
They did.
And it was safe, and it stayed hidden, I'd say
oh gosh,
more than 2 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because the Cycle Search usually begins at the end of January, end of February. I don't know what the start date was, but we've had a lot of clues over a lot of days.
Yes, we have. So there you go. Lots of fun, and congratulations to them. I think they said they had some grandkids that will really enjoy those four-wheelers. So,
all right.
Super.
Okay. Well, coming up soon, Jennifer, will be the first of our festivals and fairs. The weather gets better, and those big events are coming. We are, of course, talking about the Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival. And last night was kind of like a key event, kind of leading up to the festival. There was an orientation meeting for all the young ladies who either want to be the 2003 Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival Queen or the Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival Queen.
Yes.
And I was up there for that event, went very smoothly. And we're going to show you pictures later in the week, but we will have them in the Telegram on Wednesday. And we'll give you some names now, but there are 11 young ladies who are vying to be the Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival Queen this year. And you can see their pictures on the Telegram Facebook page, and we'll have more information, of course, that we'll post on our website and then in Wednesday's paper. More information as well as a couple of pictures and information about the pageant. The pageant will actually take place next Saturday. It's called the Queen's Scholarship Pageant. It'll be 7 p.m. at the Vinton County High School Cafetorium. That is open to the public. Then the Little Miss contest will be the next day, Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Also at the high school cafetorium. But the 11 candidates for the 2003 Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival, and I took pictures last night, got a look at them. Judges are going to have a hard time. I mean, they truly are some...
They have some well-spoken young ladies in Vinton County.
Right, and the candidates are, for the older girls, Emma Leeming, Cassidy Graham, Bailey Wellman, Eliza Smith, Brooklyn Burns, Leela Hayslip, Casey Peoples, Jana Zimmerman, Lily Young, Allison Champion, and Gracie Peters. And once again, they'll be competing in the Queen's Scholarship Pageant, 7 p.m. this Saturday, open to the public. We'll tell you more about that later in the week, and it'll also be in the paper as well. The pageant will determine the Queen and attendance 1 and 2, but that information is going to be held in abeyance until the Saturday evening of the festival. As tradition dictates, the Queen's crowning will take place, announcement and crowning will take place immediately after the grand parade that evening. Same deal with the little girls. The little girls, by the way, there are 6 of them that are candidates for Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival. This is a fairly new pageant. The third year they've had it. The third year that they've had the Little Miss, and the second year they've had a pageant heading into the festival. So it's a fairly new thing. But those young ladies are Vivian Grace Timmons, Natalie Nicole Reynolds, Raylyn Bentley, Isabella Horn, Aurora Osborne, and Arabella Huff. So we took their picture too. That will be online and in the paper as well on in our Wednesday paper. And that pageant, once again, is 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon, same format. The contest, the pageant, will determine who the Little Miss and the first and second attendants are, but they're not going to tell you until
till the festival?
The announcement and the crowning on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. That would be Sunday, May the 7th. So the little girls have to wait an extra day to find out who the new Little Miss is. So they'll be named during the pageant or during the festival, but then they will serve the entire year into the next festival. All the festivals do it a little bit different on the timeline, but that's how it works in Vinton County. But I was up there for that event. Some of the Wild Turkey Festival committee leaders were there, the people who run the Queen's Contest and the Little Miss Contest. Looks like it was super well organized. They laid out all the things that are expected and whatever. And their pageant that they have is really a grand affair.
Yes,
They have entertainment as well as the contest, and it's a very, very nice event. But the 38th Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival, for the ones who haven't heard the schedule, it's Thursday, May the 4th through Sunday, May the 7th, and that will be on the downtown streets of MacArthur. There'll be a lot of different activities. In addition to the Queen crowning, they'll have the Grand Parade on the Saturday evening. They will also have some entertainment each day of the festival. Jess Kelly Adams, who we know so well, will be the main entertainment on Saturday evening. And she was rained out last year at the festival, so
I forgot about that.
She is really looking forward to
that was such a bummer.
But there'll be gospel music, bluegrass music, country music, all 9 yards. The Rock Music Wizards will be there. Of course, there'll be the carnival rides, all sorts of concessions, some different competitions. There'll be a big car show, a bike show. So there really is
turkey drop.
Right. There really is a long list of events, and we hope to have a schedule that we'll put out this week. Subject to change because things happen, but we'll keep you up on those as well. But once again, all that coming your way here in the next several weeks, and this weekend, a big weekend for the festival, heading into the festival the first weekend of May, because that's the 2 pageants for the Queens and then the Little Miss contestants as well. They also have a little Mr. Gobbler and a little Miss Gobblerette that are even younger kids. But that takes place during the festival itself, and I believe there's a baby contest this year as well.
Nice.
So they have something for about all ages there. So we'll be talking a lot more about that and writing about that and talking about that radio, TV, and telegram. All right, today is a big day in Boston, Massachusetts.
It is.
The Boston Marathon, probably the most famous marathon in the country.
Yes.
Certainly the most celebrated and best known. New York has a very big one too, and they're all over the place. But the reason I mention that is because one of our own is competing. That is Wellston resident Jason Holzapfel. And Jason has run for a long time, very much in shape. I think he's 46.
Yes, he's like a flash, man.
That picture right there, that is Jason on the right running in one of his events. And the Boston Marathon today, Jason's flight, because, they have different levels taking off at different times, will be I believe 2:20 in the afternoon, somewhere in there. He hopes to run it in 3 hours or 10 minutes or less.
Okay.
And to even be able to go to the Boston Marathon, it's just you just don't sign up.
No,
you
do not.
Qualify
You do.
for it.
You have to be almost like an invited.
Right.
Kind of thing.
There'll be some of the world's best marathon runners will be participating.
Yes.
But Jason had to be able to break 3 hours and 20 minutes to be able to get in his particular age group, and he ended up running 3 hours and 14 minutes in an event in Cleveland, the Cleveland Marathon. And you're thinking that...
Hi, Bonnie. Yes, so are we.
There's Bonnie.
There's Mama Bonnie.
Right. Listen, I know she's a proud mama.
She is.
I know
She should be.
family members are there.
Oh, 10:40. Okay, thanks, Bonnie.
Oh, it's 10:40 a.m.
Okay.
10:40 a.m. is when Jason takes off. So, hopefully maybe later today, we'll know. We'll certainly talk to him after he gets back.
Absolutely.
Because of what a grand experience to be, and I mean, that is the top of the line if you're a marathon
that is
runner.
so cool. We're so proud of him.
And Jason, I tell you what, he's been in a lot of different running events. He runs so much every week for training. And get this, when he comes back, he is going to be, and not too long after he gets back, he is going to be in a 150-mile relay with 4 other runners from Jackson.
They've all lost their minds,
right,
I swear.
Each of them will run, I presume, 30 miles, and it's kind of like a relay. One guy goes and the next guy goes. So, I mean, some people would die while running in a marathon. And
I couldn't make it a mile, Pete.
And some people would need need weeks to recover, and there he is, ready to go off on an even longer run.
Yeah.
But he was in a marathon. He told our Todd Compston, because we had a feature story in last Saturday's paper. He runs about 70 to 80 miles per week, just regular training to get ready for the marathon. He has run 2 marathons this year already, one on February the 5th and one on April the 1st. Not all that long ago. That was in Texas. So
good grief.
So he travels far, to compete and also to qualify, for these other marathons. He qualified for the Boston Marathon with his time there in Cleveland. Yes, I see that. I misspoke. His wave is expected to start at 10:27 a.m. And if everything goes well, he hopes to finish between 1:30 and 1:40 p.m. So I had my times mixed up there. So his time in the Texas Marathon was 3 hours and 12 minutes. So he has been under that 3:14. He has been under that 3 hours and 20 minutes his last 2 marathons. So not only beating the time, but beating it with a little bit of room to spare. So
that's awesome.
Regardless of what happens, I know he's thrilled just to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
So
what
cool.
a great city to visit, Boston.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been there. My wife and I like to travel. Every now and then I get away. We're going to go there this summer.
Oh, you are?
Right, to Boston.
Well, we expect a full report from
area.
Cheers. How's that?
Well, I won't be running. I won't be running in any marathons. All right, I can report on that right now. But congratulations to Jason Holzapfel for just being able to qualify and be there. Great personal accomplishment.
Yep, he's a great dude, and we are very, very proud of him. It's misty and cool. It's probably good for running.
Well, I think that they prefer that.
Yeah.
I don't think they want, a thunderstorm. That's always dangerous, and they don't want a downpour. But they would much rather they would much rather have conditions like this than 80 degrees and sun beating down on you.
Yep.
Because that can wear on you just as much as the mileage. So anyway, we will certainly be following up on that. Another report that we want to tell you about, we'll go to the criminal justice front now.
Okay.
This is a report that we'll have in our next paper, and this comes from the Jackson Police Department. The Jackson Police Department have made a major child pornography arrest. And we've had
another one?
Another one. We've had a few of those from the different law enforcement agencies, really in all our local area. It's obvious that, we talked about this before, they're cracking down on this. Maybe there's more of it, but I'm thinking it has something to do with the ability of law enforcement now to track things,
Technology is certainly a...
But the suspect here who has been arrested and charged is 54-year-old Gary Duguay of 53.5 Wood Avenue in Jackson. Currently, he is charged with a single second-degree felony. That's the next down felony from first-degree felony. Count of pandering, obscenity involving a minor. And JPD investigators determined that he had downloaded child pornographic images on his cell phone. Now, how this all started, and I have a feeling this is how some of the local cases started, the Internet Crimes Against Children, which is state level, I think that's either Attorney General or BCI, that is under the same umbrella there, they monitor things like this.
They do.
They find out that, to a certain IP address that downloading occurred. It's one thing to look, it's another thing to download, I understand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right. When you download, you're not supposed to do that, and you're certainly not supposed to share those images with other people.
Right.
But anyway, downloading occurred on February 2nd, 2023. At that time, all they had was an IP address. They didn't know necessarily where it was or whose phone or computer or electronic device it was.
Gotcha.
And, just because you have an IP address and you can maybe trace it to a device, that doesn't mean that that person who owns that phone or computer necessarily did it. Other people have access. Yeah. So you need an investigation.
That's where your investigation comes in.
You need an investigation. So the police did that, and they determined that the images were on Gary Duguay's cell phone, and they determined that he had downloaded them. They did an interview with Mr. Duguay, and he admitted as such that because it was in his household, other people could have been implicated as well, but it was his cell phone, and they did confiscate other electronic devices from that house, but in the offense in question, it was his cell phone. He admitted that he did, according to the police. Mr. Duguay didn't tell me that. The police did. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
But he said that he did that more than once, apparently, while under the influence of methamphetamine. He's using methamphetamine, and this is when he does this. So, maybe there is a connection on his state of mind on when he does this. But right now there is one charge, but the police say that they have tracked 7 different images. So there could be 7 different charges.
Gotcha.
The police believed that the criminal case, even though he was initially charged, arrested, and incarcerated, the case will go to a grand jury. That grand jury met last Friday, and his case could have been considered in. We don't know the results of that.
Gotcha.
But when that comes out, it's made public. There's a little bit of a waiting period after the grand jury reviews all these cases. There could be multiple charges of pandering, obscenity involving a minor, or it could be something else. The grand jury has to decide that.
Yes.
But that's what the police believe that the charge would be if they just went with what they had initially. So that story will be, posted online. It isn't there yet, but it will be printed in our Wednesday paper, and we'll have it online as well. But he is incarcerated. Mr. Duguay is in the Jackson County Correctional Facility on a $250,000 bond. And, as you know, sitting here listening to me, maybe 10 of these here in the last 3 months?
Yeah.
Because, it seems to be a major crime. It's treated that way as far as the level of felony and like that.
Sure.
And certainly sends a message to the people that are doing this that it is against the law. You may be in your own home or you may have your own phone, but there are certain things that you can't do. It's illegal.
You just can't do that.
I think that most people probably know that, but
I would hope so.
But in case you don't, can't do it. Now, how do you get child pornographic images? Mr. Duguay said, the police told me some more detailed information, which they didn't want me to share because they don't want people doing it. But basically, it was an internet search for child pornographic images. So it wasn't that hard. Wasn't that hard to do, but the consequences are serious.
Yeah.
All right. In the city of Jackson, this has really been a big deal the last 3 years. And those who live or work in the city or travel through it, big deal. The city of Jackson has announced its tentative list of streets to be paved this year in 2023. And there are a lot of them. And at the last Jackson City Council meeting, which was last Monday, Jackson Mayor Randy Evans didn't list them all verbally, but he did release a list. Council has it. They released a list to me. That will be published and posted in our paper later in the week. But $1.2 million worth of paving will be done. This is all as a result of the city income tax, the 1.5% city income tax that was passed in 2020 by the electorate. And half of the money goes through infrastructure improvements. That's a broad designation. The other half goes to support the general fund, most notably the Jackson Police Department. On the infrastructure, probably the most tangible, visible investment from the income tax is street paving.
Yes.
That was something that really needed to be done before, but unless there was a grant The city just had minimal money for that. So that's one of the benefits that you can say for sure from from the income tax. This is the third year.
You can definitely see it, you know.
This is the third year, and the list of streets, I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot of them, but either the streets or the sections of streets are all over town, the northwest section, the southeast section, the middle section, the southwest section, some parking areas as well. This will not get all the streets. There have already been 2 years of paving. This will be the third year. And then the income tax runs for 5 years, so there'll at least be 2 more years. Mayor Evans said that's still not going to cover all the paving that needs to be done because, you know, they're playing catch up even through the first 5 years. If the income tax is renewed, and it will have to be because it had a sunset clause in it, they will continue the street paving program. And then about the time that the money runs out or the period runs out that all the streets are paved, it'll be time to start all over
again.
Right.
Is Broadway Street on there over by Jamestown?
Well, it's not on it's not on the list.
That's
but
the one that everyone's like,
right.
ah.
It's not on the list, but it's going to be done through a grant that they already received. They did what they call subsurface repairs last year, which doesn't mean a whole lot for the smoothness, but it's so that the paving that they will do, the surface paving, will hold up better, I think, once it's done. And that is under that's in their different designation. They got an ODOT grant, I think, to pay for most of that.
Yeah.
And they actually did some of the work last year. And the city has been doing curb replacement on because that is related work that has to be done ahead of time before paving. And the city crews do a lot of that work, and I think that they've done that work, you know, into the winter when they could work, and maybe even will continue with that before the paver started. As far as when the paving will be done, we don't know yet. They're going to open up bids on April the 28th. They have $1.2 million to work with, but however the bids come in, high or low or whatever, will determine whether they can do the tentative list.
Gotcha.
Mayor Evans said tentative with a capital T. This is what they will do, you know, if the bids come in right. They may be able to do more if the bids are low.
Last
if the bids
year they
are high,
were able to do a little bit more than they anticipated.
They did. If the
which was great.
Right. If the bids are low, you're right, they're going to be able to do more than what they're announcing. If the bids are high, they're going to have to prioritize a little bit, maybe cut down the length on some streets, or they probably have a priority list now that isn't being announced if that's if that becomes a contingency action.
I think a lot of people need to understand too, and I mean, I'm sure that you all understand this, but a lot of this is weather permitting too, because, you know, it has to be the right conditions for them to be able to pave. So, you know, temperatures definitely at play, rain, all that stuff. So there's a small window to get a lot of this stuff done.
Right, and the schedule on like when it's going to be done. Like we said, they're getting the bid openings on the 28th, but these paving companies, you know, they pave a lot of places. So, you know, they have to do the schedule. Last year, a lot of it was done in late summer, and you can do it into the fall before it gets cold. So chances are, you know, a lot of it will be done in a fairly short period. But, you know, or the paver companies, depending on who it is, they may have to move around a little bit.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly when it's going to be done, but it's certainly going to be progress. And there's some places in town that maybe aren't on the list and haven't been done yet. And they're saying, well, my gosh, why aren't they doing this street? You know, particularly if you live there, you're thinking that.
Correct.
The reason why some streets aren't there that maybe should be on a priority basis is, remember that Columbia Gas is doing major gas line replacement work, or contractors for Columbia Gas. Well, when they do their new gas line replacements, what are they doing? They're
digging up the street.
Well, they don't want to, the city doesn't want to pave the street one summer and have the gas company tear it up in the fall.
Yeah.
So places where gas line replacement is scheduled to be done, if paving has not been done yet, the paving is going to have to be put off until the gas line replacement work is done.
Yep.
For instance, I live at the corner of South and Star Street.
Yep.
Star Street certainly should be done. On my end of Star Street, which is the south end of Star Street, looking down towards Huron Street, like that street from south to Huron is going to be done. Cross the street from South Street down to State Street, that is not going to be done because gas line work is going to be done.
Correct.
There. So my neighbors across the street,
gotta wait.
I'm speaking to them specifically right now.
Sorry.
And you can bet on this, when the gas line work's done, you can count on some digging being done in your yard perhaps as well. That's a necessity, but when this new PVC pipe is put in, it is going to last for a long, long time.
Yep, it should be in good shape for quite a while.
Right. Okay. Speaking of Jackson City Council, this was actually a meeting ago, but worth mentioning again. Every now and then at the beginning of the meeting, Randy Evans does recognitions. Mayor Evans does recognitions. It's things out in the community.
Sure.
A meeting ago, he had the JHS competition cheer squad in because he wanted to give them recognition. They also got recognition at the last school board meeting as well.
Very cool.
But at the competition cheer squad at the Jackson City Council meeting, Mayor Evans introduced them, Courtney Butcher, Karina Folks, Tiffany Boggs, who are do you have that picture, Dylan?
Of the competition cheer?
Yeah, at the Jackson City Council meeting.
Sorry, I don't believe I do.
Okay. All right. Well, they were there. And he lined them up, gave them congratulations, had each one of them introduced, and the head cheer coach, Courtney Butcher, made some comments. But of course, the Jackson cheer squad were national champions in that competition down in Orlando, Florida.
Did a great job.
In March. Okay, we talked about the Wild Turkey Festival Queens. Their contest is going to be this weekend. Well, guess what? The Jackson County Fair Queen pageants are going to be this weekend too on Saturday. Lots of Queen stuff going on Saturday in our local area. But the event is going to take place at the Parks Edge Event Center. Of course, Angie Osnogle, who is on the fair board and has been kind of in charge of the Queen's pageants for a number of years now. She is the spearhead there. But it will begin at 3:30 p.m. It will start with the youngest level and go all the way up to the Queen level.
Sure.
But it will start at 3:30 p.m. Donation at the door is asked of everybody that comes, and that's good for the whole evening. Starts at $5. That's a $5 cost. But there will be contests for Little Miss and Little Mister, their 3rd and 4th grade attendant, for 5th and 6th grade attendant, for let's see here, for 7th and 8th attendant, 9th grade attendant, 7th, 8th, and 9th attendant, and then the Queen level.
Yeah.
And there's a number of contestants in most of these categories. I think in maybe a category or two, there's only one, so that young lady will automatically be a winner. But in this particular contest, they do go ahead and announce who the Queen and the attendants are. And so this is for the Queen and for the grade level attendants, all the way down to the Little Miss and Little Mister.
Awesome.
And that will be, and we will have that, we'll have the pictures of those candidates in our Wednesday paper as well. Okay, here is a criminal justice story out of Vinton County. This was reported over the weekend by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. This incident took place on Wednesday, April 12th, and the Vinton County Sheriff's Office were dispatched on that day to the Hopewell Health Center in MacArthur regarding a reportedly intoxicated subjects who were in a vehicle. Deputies contacted the occupants and then observed a male who appeared to be under the influence of narcotics, one person in that vehicle. Deputies attempted to identify that male, who then allegedly lied about his identity. Then when they attempted to detain him for further questioning, he took off running. Didn't get very far. Deputies apprehended the male and took him to the ground. He was later identified as 38-year-old Christopher Fee of MacArthur. Deputies conducted a search of the vehicle. They found multiple baggies of white powder, which they believed to be fentanyl, as well as small baggies containing a crystal substance believed to be methamphetamine, also some drug paraphernalia. Dylan has put up Christopher Fee's picture there. That story we have already online, and it will also be in our Wednesday edition. Mr. Fee was taken to the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail after being medically cleared. Criminal charges will follow after a review is done by the Vinton County Prosecutor's Office.
Gotcha.
But once again, potential charges, the attempted flight from deputies, his condition when he was found, and we'll see whether he's being held responsible for the drugs that were found in the vehicle. There were other people in the vehicle as well.
Okay.
All right. Want to remind you that early voting is taking place for the May 2
right, already?
That's right. Now, it's not a big ballot, but one of the important things is a contested mayor's race in Wellston.
Yes.
Anthony Brenner, who is the current mayor by the appointment of the Republican caucus from Wellston. He will serve throughout the year. He's replacing Charlie Hudson, who, of course, resigned in January. But Mr. Brenner is being contested by another Republican candidate, Tom Clark, certainly a familiar name in Wellston. He had been not on city council now, but on city council for over 30 years total. And he is running for mayor.
Okay.
So that is the big contested race. There's also a
Interesting.
countywide levy through the health department, and there's some other
Okay.
people on the ballot too, but they're running uncontested. There is no primary at all in Vinton County, but there is a countywide primary in Jackson County because of that countywide levy.
Those, if I remember correctly, those health department levies, those are renewals, right? Not replacements?
Yes, the health department levy, they have more than one, but the one on the ballot this year is a renewal.
So it won't make your taxes go up.
It will not make your taxes go up
And the-
one iota. It's just
make it
continuing the same level.
simple.
The millage stays the same, but the effective rate of taxation does not go up.
Yeah.
It goes up when there's a replacement. The millage doesn't go up on a replacement, but it will reflect the updated tax value. So
You're-
it's going to be
yeah.
more, but
Typically, it's
only
more.
because you're paying more taxes because of property valuations.
Unless your property value goes down.
Right. I mean, on the replacement and renewals, I know a renewal is easier to pass, obviously, because you're not asking
Yeah.
for any more money. You're asking for the same amount of money. But people have to understand out there when they weigh their decisions, there is a thing called inflation.
Yeah.
And, what 1 mil bought 10 years ago is not what 1 mil gets now.
Yeah,
if
for
there's
sure.
not updated property values put on it through the replacement levy process.
Correct.
And most levies that are put on, unless they're new or an agency feels they needed additional money put on an old levy, they're either renewals or replacements.
Yep.
And we'll always try to distinguish between the two.
Yeah.
But on the early voting this week, the 17th through the 21st at the Jackson County Board of Elections, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those are slightly extended hours.
okay.
You can also, and you go to the Board of Elections office, which is in the Job and Family Services office building at 25 East South Street in Jackson. Go around to the rear of the building, and you'll see
Yep.
the marked door there.
It'll tell you where to go.
Right, absentee ballots are also being mailed out on request as well.
Oh.
And then you can turn in that ballot anytime up until Election Day there at the Board of Elections. You can also mail it back as well.
Okay.
All right, so we'll keep reminding you about that, and we'll focus more on the things that are on the ballot, especially, of course, the health levy and the contested race in Wellston. Remember that sometime this week we expect work to be taking place at Kelly Lambert Memorial Park.
Yes.
The new playground equipment coming in as a result of a grant won by the City of Wellston. Good work by Administrative Assistant Mindy Eisnogler, our good friend that helps us out at the radio.
That's exactly right.
But she said, I talked to her at the end of last week. They are putting together that equipment. They have been doing that at the garage, at the city garage in Wellston.
They said right now it just looks like a whole bunch of tubes, so you got to
Right.
put all that stuff together.
It's there, and so when they do install this at the park, which should be any time almost,
Yes.
I suppose this week, it's going to go in pretty quick, I think.
I think it will, because I think that they have a professional company coming in to install that stuff, and I love that they some of the equipment is ADA compliant as well, so those kids can play as well, and it'll be a good thing.
Right, exactly. Hey, another event that took place this Saturday that we covered was the Big Red Diamond Club's opening day parade and activities after the parade. But Red Thompson was there to cover this, and this was a big event. All the youth league baseball, softball, t-ball teams had a chance to be in a parade that started out at Manpower Park and went all the way to
So fun.
Eddie Jones Field in Jackson at the corner of High Street and Main.
Yeah.
And they had a first pitch ceremony there, and that is what you see right there in the photo that Dylan has put up. And on the left is Hillary Nichols representing Adina Health.
Okay.
And on the right is David Enyart representing Apple City Wholesalers.
Cool.
And they had the honor of throwing out the first pitch simultaneously because Adina and Apple City are the presenting sponsors. Now, there's lots of
Awesome.
businesses that support the Youth League baseball, softball program. You know, they buy uniforms, they support in other ways, but the presenting sponsors are at the head of the line of the sponsors, and so they were in the spotlight there. But of course, all the kids got to ride in a parade in their baseball uniforms. That was exciting for them, I'm sure. Then they did things like home run derby, base running competition. They had inflatables, concessions there. It was really
Fun.
kind of like a party atmosphere there. The games actually start, weather permitting, this evening.
Very cool.
That is Youth League baseball, Youth League softball, the younger kids on the t-ball. And
Is there a parakeet team, or what was it? Were you the parakeets?
we were the parakeets. We were a little bit old to the little kids. They would probably beat us anyway. But that was a long time ago, Jennifer, when we could run the bases and
Did
maybe
you
even
have
some-
official shirts and everything?
We did. We did. We went to the hilt on that. We even had cheerleaders. We called them parakeet supporters. That was the way we got some of the good-looking girls to, because they got a free T-shirt out of it. Oh yeah, I'll be one. So
Love that.
right. Oh, we loved it too. But anyway, I do want to do. I wanted to salute the Big Red Diamond Club. It's not been around that long, but
Right.
it is the support club for the Youth League, and they basically run the Youth League for the city of Jackson. It is
That's
a city
super
of Jackson program, but Big Red Diamond Club has a contract with the city to do this, and they're all volunteers. They don't get paid anything. So congratulations to all of them, and that was certainly a high-profile event to celebrate that. A lot of kids are involved, and Make Wellston Beautiful does the same thing there. I believe that their opening day parade and first pitch ceremony is going to be not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, April the 29th. So I'm
Very
sure we'll be
good.
covering that as well. We'll have maybe coverage later in the week on this, but the State Highway Patrol had that open house on Saturday.
did.
Our Alex Shope was there and reported that it went really well. He got some
Yep.
good photos and coverage there. But that was not only a public event to bring the public together with the professionals and all the staff from top to bottom at the Highway Patrol. That post just on Chillicothe Pike west of Jackson, represents Jackson and Vinton counties, but also a little bit of a recruitment thing too for
Yes.
people that are interested in employment, including, the trooper positions.
Absolutely. And everything
You have to go
else.
through something to do that, but this gave education to people who may be interested in that. They know what they
Sure.
need to do, and they probably received some supporting information that if they were thinking about it, that maybe they'll decide that, they're going to give it a try.
Absolutely.
Also, this weekend, and we'll be reporting on this later, the Vinton County Fairgrounds was very busy this weekend. They had a vendor fair last weekend. They had a spring fling event on Saturday evening where they had some singers up there. Red Thompson Jr. was up there listening
Very
to
cool.
the tunes.
No way. Red was listening to music.
He was up there, loved that. And then yesterday, the Jackson Vinton Farm Bureau had a Easter egg hunt. 1 week after the fact, kind of smart, right?
Right,
You're not
exactly.
competing against all those other Easter egg hunts. And Kim Haddle Harless always involved in that, and when she's involved in anything, it's going to be done big and well.
Yep.
With all the Farm Bureau people helping
Always
out.
does a great job.
Great for the community, obviously. So we'll be reporting a little bit more on that. The Rotary Club here in Jackson had their murder mystery dinner, which I understand went off pretty well at the Marquet Theater. I think that's the first time the Rotary has tried that. I think Roger Donaldson had a lot to do with setting that up.
I think you're right.
So congratulations to those people. They're can-do people. And when they do these things, they're not only fun things for the community and the club members, they're raising money for good causes. No, I'm not forgetting about the Wellston Rotary Show that we publicized last week. But Mr. Shaver was there at their dress rehearsal on Thursday night where they basically do the whole show. We're going to have some pictures that we're going to show you in our Wednesday paper, and
Okay.
Jeremiah will have them online. He'll probably have a photo gallery, all sorts of pictures. He'll be here in just a few minutes to talk about that because
Good, okay.
that was a success as well. Want to remind you that the Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce and the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership will have that joint meeting this Friday down at the Liberty Theater Community Center at 11 a.m. The public is invited to attend. That is another event to celebrate Oak Hill's sesquicentennial, their 150th anniversary. Make sure when Jeremiah comes, you make him say sesquicentennial. He's been practicing.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see if he can spit it out or not.
Okay.
And if not, Dylan can just make a fun TikTok about it, so it's good.
All right. Well, we also want to tell you this is a group that flies a little bit under the radar, but man, they do important things. All volunteers as well. It's the Jackson Historical Society.
Yes.
They have meetings once a month. People can come. You don't have to be a member or pay dues to come if you're interested. They'd like you to be a member, but they also want you to be involved and informed. And they're going to have a meeting at 6 p.m. this Thursday at the Potter Room of the Jackson City Library.
Cool.
Then they're going to follow that with a program at 6:30 p.m. Where they're going to present a program about one of the most important places in Jackson's early history. And so this will probably be some new information. There are not only people who want to preserve history at the Historical Society in Jackson, there's people who write it and research it. You know, not just somebody like Bob Irvin, but somebody like Mike Stroth. He does a lot of that work as well. And a group or somebody is going to have a nice program that they think would be good for the general public. So that is 6:30 p.m. at the Potter Room at the Jackson City Library.
Good.
Okay, Kenny Valentine will do that free concert at the Liberty Theater Community Center this Saturday. That's 7 to 10 p.m. That is open to the public. That is another sesquicentennial event. And also at the Marquee, talk about a lot of entertainment, Open Rail will be performing.
Yes,
at
that's
the Marquee.
right.
That will be on Saturday evening at the Marquee. You can get tickets in advance for that online. They're a little bit cheaper if you get them in advance. All right. And also, the Jackson Area YMCA will hold a community hike at Lake Catherine. Joe Finch, Dennis Reinhardt, and some other people have been doing that through the YMCA. Great way to see
Pretty
some
cool.
nature places
Yeah.
where you might not feel comfortable going on your own, but
Yeah.
you know they're like naturalists almost, local naturalists. But the next one is going to be 9 a.m. Meet at the Lake Catherine Preserve parking lot on the Beaver Pike side of the preserve, and it will be basically a spring wildflower walk.
Oh,
Open
how
to the
fun.
public. They do ask you.
Take your Claritin
They do
before
ask
you
you
go.
to register in advance at the YMCA. You can, you may be able to do it online, but you can certainly do it by calling. That's 286-7008, 7008. You might be able to do it online. I'm not sure about that, but you can call. They have a certain number of spaces because they have to plan for it, so
Sure.
you do have to register in advance. The Jackson County Dog Pound will also be having a yard sale this Saturday. It will be at the Christ Church in Jackson, the former Christ United Methodist Church on Portsmouth Street.
Okay.
The Dog Pound is happy to accept donations, but it's asking for no clothing.
Yeah, no clothes.
No clothing, but anything else that might sell at a yard sale, and that will be on Saturday, starting at. Well, I don't have a time for that, but it will be.
It'll be in the morning.
It'll be in the morning at the Christ Church.
Also, the Jackson County Dog Pound is hiring. So just to let you know, if you love critters and you think that would be something you want to do, you can give them a shout out because they have a position available out there.
All right, and on the sports side, we want to tell you about the Jackson Ironmen who defeated the Huntington Ross Huntsmen 6-4 on Saturday. It was a non-conference game. They're now 9-3. They did lose to Washington Courthouse in that showdown game on Friday, but still in second place in the FAC and having a great season for a young team. But here's the cool thing about the Saturday game. Two brothers pitched the game for Jackson.
Oh, cool.
Younger brother Bodie, only a freshman, was the starting pitcher for Jackson. He pitched 3 innings, and for his first varsity game against a good team, Ross Huntington came in with a record of 8-2.
Okay.
He kept them in the game. It was pretty much tied when he left after 3 innings. Brother Cade, who is the older brother, came in to pitch in the 4th inning. He didn't give up. He gave up 1 unearned run the rest of the way. Jackson pulled ahead and won by 6-4.
Way to go, guys.
We don't know how often that's happened, but
That's
the brother,
cool.
Acton Jackson, Bodie Wooford, and Cade Wooford.
Love
so
that.
Congratulations to the Ironman, Coach Josh McGraw, and, of course, the Wooford brothers.
You got it.
All right. Well,
Good job, guys.
I'm going to let Jeremiah Shaver take my seat. He did the coverage on the Wellston Rotary Show.
And what's he going to say?
He doesn't have to say sesquicentennial. The Rotary Show's been
We're
going
gonna
on
make
for
it
40
do
plus
it
years,
anyway.
but not 150, so he's off the hook. And he's been practicing. He's got it down anyway. You don't have to put him on the spot. Or maybe
I'm so going to put him on the spot. What do you
Okay.
think?
Well, anyway, he's going to talk principally about the Wellston Rotary Show. He's got some great pictures to share.
All right. Thank you so much, Pete, and have a great day. Come on over, Jeremiah, so I can harass you a little bit. But while we're switching those things out, the weather's kind of been a little bit strange today. Some cooler temperatures popped up today and some rain. Been kind of drizzly all morning. Highs today only about 51 degrees, lows overnight of 36. But look at tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, looking absolutely gorgeous again for those unseasonably warm temperatures that we're having this April. Tomorrow, some partly cloudy skies, highs of 65. Wednesday, 77, and Thursday, 84 degrees. And of course, look at the weekend where the rain comes back in, because we cannot have a weekend here in Jackson County where it doesn't rain. Hi, Jeremiah.
Morning, Jen. How are you?
Good. So have you been down to Oak Hill lately?
I was there a couple Mondays ago for Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Did you guys talk about anything special going on down there in Oak Hill?
No, I can't think of anything.
There's this thing called, it starts with an S. What's it called?
Let me try it here. You ready?
You can do it.
Sesquicentennial.
Pretty good. Good job.
Sesquicentennial.
There you go.
Yeah.
He did it.
150 years. I don't think Pete touched on this, but I have a story done. Later this year, they finally announced they want to try to unveil the world's largest acorn down there in the village of Oak Hill.
Hey, I've been holding that secret for a long time.
I have too. I've known
James
about
knew
this.
About it.
Yeah, I've known about this since like October last year, I
Isn't
think, or
that
maybe
so
the year
fun?
before
Yeah.
last. I can't remember. I've known about it for a while, and it's something that they're going to try to do. They're actually fundraising.
Yeah.
To try to secure funds to do that.
The
But
world's largest
the world's largest acorn, and
Statue.
currently, they're doing it'd be a sculpture.
Yeah.
Made of some kind of metal. They haven't quite decided on the metal yet.
Yeah.
Currently, the world's largest. It's over 1,000 pounds. It's like 10 foot tall, and it resides in Raleigh, North Carolina.
So we're going to kick their butts
Yeah.
for the sesquicentennial.
Right, and they thought it would be cool to make the world's largest one here, bigger than the one that's in North Carolina.
It's going to be 10 feet 1 inch.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. They
No,
during-
that's really cool.
Yeah, so I have a story about that, and if you're interested in helping with the fundraising efforts, in my story, it talks about how you can do that. In Raleigh, North Carolina, their nickname is the City of Oaks, the City of Oaks.
Aha.
So Oak Hill is the village of Oak Hill, and they're known for the oaks down there as well. So they just thought it'd be neat to do during the 150th celebration,
that's
and they're
pretty
hoping
cool.
that they secure enough funds to do it. They don't have a price on what that's going to cost yet to be able to do that sculpture there, but they're planning on doing it in the Central Memorial Park. There's a concrete pad already there that they're considering maybe using to put this sculpture on. And they did say that they have a local business that's working on this. They're working on a mock-up, like a little miniature rendering, I guess, of what it would be. And I'm hoping to see that maybe next month at the next meeting. But it'd be neat to see how they handle that.
Absolutely.
So Pete mentioned that over the weekend, the Wellston Rotary Club did their 69th annual, it's the Wellston Rotary Show. I attended during the dress rehearsal on Thursday last week. He showed a little video clip there on Friday of them marching in, the Saints game marching in. And it was a great production. We'll go through it here. I know Dylan has a few photos that we can put on the screen. Here is a shot of everybody that was involved. You have on the stage there, that would be Tim Jones.
Is that a tractor?
No, it's a train.
Oh.
Yeah,
It was like a lawnmower.
Yeah, so this year the Wellston Rotary
So
Club
cool.
brought the rich railroad history that helped build Wellston in its formative years to life through song and humor. The show was held over the weekend, April 14th and 15th. It was about an hour and 45-minute production, and it was held on the Wellston High School cafetorium. The theme this year was Riding the Rails.
Love that.
And so that was, you often see the train that's there on stage. I think you often see it at the Wellston Ohilco Festival during the parade.
Yes.
That Grace Baptist, you see it come rolling through on the parade route there. But on stage here, you have a pair of the Inmen doing one of their jokes. That is Tim Jones there on the right, and the other gentleman's name is Brian Calips. And they were doing throughout the production. You know, they do a lot of singing of different songs. A lot of them this year were themed, you know, towards the railroad. And every so often, you'd have a few of the Inmen pop up and do some jokes, or you know, I always consider it dry humor or dad jokes.
Oh, for sure.
And it's
Some
always
groany jokes.
yes. And I did catch myself laughing a few times as we went through. You can throw a couple of the pictures up. There's another photo of Tim Jones there as one of the Inmen. He had several different little skits throughout the
fun.
production. He was very entertaining to watch. You have Dorothy Riepenhoff there. She did the piano for the music for the production, and she was the director once again this year. And there is Dana Lockard, and this year she was kind of the lead for it. This was a position that John Pelletier held for years and years.
Gotcha.
And John was not in the production this year, and nor his wife Connie. But Dana stepped up and filled that. She was basically, it was kind of like an MC type role.
Yeah.
There is a title for that. I don't have it on this particular sheet, but anyhow, it was a great production. They had a number of individuals involved in the circle, and they also had the 4 Inmen. They had Dana as the lead there, and they had some of the high school students involved with helping with the stage.
Cool.
As well.
That's great.
And but it was just a tribute to the local railroad transportation system that flourished in the Wellston area during the late 1800s and early 1900s. Wellston was as we all know, a coal boom town, which benefited from the presence of a railroad to transport coal to outside markets. The depot, which is still there on
Yes.
it's on Railroad Avenue in downtown Wellston, remains as the present-day symbol of that heritage. And the Ohio South Central Railroad continues to service the line which runs through the city of Wellston there.
Very cool.
But while the Rotary Show was fun and entertaining for the community, it also raised money, which the club uses in many ways to give back to the community, as well as through the school district through various means. I know they do scholarships.
They do.
They try to give to this and that. So overall, it was entertaining. Pete didn't include. There were some other photos I had taken too. Should be a whole photo gallery on the website, thetelegramnews.com.
Very
You can get on
fun.
there and see all the shots from the production. They always do like a second half that's like skits where they do different things. And there was some funny photos that I had. There was one, Tim Jones dressed up as a chicken. And he was running around while somebody sung about he was a rooster. And it was called the Happy Rooster. And he was running around and would pop up during certain portions of this song or poem that the person
great.
was reading. But it was
so funny.
It was entertaining, and kudos to them to continue to make this tradition happen.
Yeah.
69 years, Jen.
It's a long time.
Long time. I had a couple notices I wanted to go over
Sure.
before we get out of here. Just want to remind everybody that the Colton Village Council will meet tomorrow evening. That's Tuesday, April 18th at 7 o'clock there at
Okay.
the Colton Community Building. This is the only meeting that they have had for the month of April. Usually they meet twice a month, but earlier in the month on April 4th, that meeting was canceled. So they'll be taking care of all their business for this month tomorrow night. I want to remind folks about the Oak Hill School Board April meeting. That date and time for that meeting has been changed once again. Usually they meet the third Wednesday of the month. During the last school board meeting, it had moved from the third Wednesday to the fourth Wednesday just for the month of April. But then I had received notice that it has been moved once again. And they will be meeting next week on Monday, April 24th at 4:30 p.m. They usually meet at 5:30. So they're meeting an hour earlier
Okay.
and on a Monday instead of a Wednesday
Oh my.
at the Oak Hill Middle High School Library. And the meetings are open to the public. So anybody that would be interested in attending those can do so.
Okay.
So that's all I got, Jed.
Very good.
I know it was a lovely weekend.
Yes.
Got out and did a few things around the house.
The rain yesterday was a little bit much, but
It was in the afternoon. Yeah, it seemed like it started out to be. I started off with flip flops and shorts in the
I know.
morning, and by the end of the day, I had a jacket on and my shoes and pants.
Yes,
So
exactly. It was one of those Ohio
It
days.
was definitely
for
a
sure.
Ohio day yesterday.
Turn on the heat, turn on the air,
Yes.
open the windows, close the windows.
It's that time of year.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But looking pretty good the rest of the week if you can get through today. A little bit blacky. But other than that,
Hopefully it'll
should be good.
dry out a little bit because I didn't get to mow over the weekend, and
And now it's going to be,
it's going to take me forever now.
yes, I agree.
It's going to be thick, and it'll probably take me a couple hours.
You're right. You're so right. All right. Well, Jeremiah, thank you for spending the morning with us again. And we really appreciate you and glad you got out and about this weekend. So, Dylan, thank you for pushing all the right buttons.
You're welcome.
Okay. What did I teach you to say?
My pleasure.
There you go. He's learning. Good boy. All right. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.